Okay, I hope you enjoy your lunch and have a nice time for networking and just exchanging experiences between procurers we have known from the survey that there are many procurers among us, which is really nice. I would like to propose you to continue on the agenda for the day. We are going to be joined by Raul Savimaa, from the Police and Border of Estonia. He will be talking about the iProcureNet feasibility analysis and recommendations. Just to check, Raul, are you with us? Can you hear us?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me? I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you very much, Raul. Just a quick introduction on Raul Savimaa, who is also one of our partners from Estonia. He has more than 25 years of experience at the Estonian Police and Border Guard, and previously in Estonian Police Board in the areas of development, information and technology management, analysis and data security on specialist, as well as on managerial level. His tasks were related to research and development cooperation, strategic analysis, innovation and knowledge management, and cooperation with academics and research institutions. He has managed and participated in a number of projects in the area of development and technology, including Horizon 2020 projects as well, related to the projects to information and interoperability, development of a strategy for use and protection of unmanned air systems, and development of methodology regarding security aspects for protection of objects and buildings. Recently, Raul has joined the team of researchers at the Estonian Academy of Security Sciences and concentrates on research related to crisis and preparation and response to the crisis from the viewpoint of internal security and public safety. In iProcurement, Raul has been the leader of Work Package 3, feasibility analysis and recommendations from the start of the project. So without any further ado, Raul, whenever you're ready, you can go. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you for the invitation and the possibility to be here with you and to share the thoughts. And here I would like to share with you some slides and describe about the Work Package 3, the feasibility analysis and recommendations in iProcureNet project. I hope that the slides are visible for...
Yes, they are.
Perfectly. Yeah, thank you very much. The Work Package 3 in the iProcureNet project is one of the central cycles of the project. And the aim of the Work Package 3 is to conduct feasibility studies for the candidate segments for joint cross-border public procurement for all identified areas. It means the areas where the joint cross-border public procurement can occur between the law enforcement agencies. The second objective is produce knowledge about the situation on EU procurement environment for the involved agencies. And the third objective is to provide revised priority list of segments of joint cross-border public procurement together with recommendations. In a figure, this means that for iProcureNet project cycle, we receive the initial list of possible joint cross-border public procurement areas from Work Package 2. And I know the presentation regarding Work Package 2 will be tomorrow. And then this initial list of possible joint procurement areas means that there is a list where the law enforcement agencies, border guard, rescue agencies have suggested that they have a need to procure some items, and those could be of interest of joint procurement. In Work Package 3, we then have legal analysis, financial tools and programs analysis, additional integration analysis, and based on that, we conduct integrated feasibility analysis and provide the revised list of joint cross-border public procurement to work package 4. And the knowledge we use and the lessons learned, we also connect with the knowledge factory. And the methodology that we use for feasibility analysis, we also produce a description of that methodology and provide this with work package 5. So this figure here explains how the work package 3 is connected with the overall cycle of iProcureNet activities. During the first cycle, and I think this was also presented last year conference, we had a long list of possible items for joint cross-border public procurement. This was a different forensic items, airsoft weapons, ballistic vest, ammunition, drones, night shot cameras, and so on. And we gave recommendations how those could be bought as a commercial off-the-shelf products. And the second list was regarding the possibilities for innovation. The list consists of simulation, software, robotics, detection of false identity documents, substances, drones, fight against cybercrime, ballistic vests, vehicle armoring, and so on. And we recommended how those can be jointly procured using different financial mechanisms. For this cycle, the initial candidate list that we received from Work Package 2 was significantly smaller, and it consisted of 3 items that were actually possible to purchase jointly if there are suitable circumstances. The first one is drones or unmanned aerial vehicles. And the second is metal detectors, and the third is ballistic vests. And how this list is compiled, the initial list is that the public security and safety agencies have some situation where they want to purchase something to satisfy their strategy regarding the law enforcement or rescue strategy or border management strategy. And if we detect that there could be a common interest, then there could be plans for joint procurement. And the common interests are detected in Work Package 2. The real planning of joint procurement is in Work Package 4. Also, the presentation will be tomorrow. And the Work Package 3 is somewhere in between, deals that whether the common interests have feasible to procure jointly. However, there are some obstacles why the joint procurement is not so popular so far. First, that we still have a few good experiences in law enforcement, first response, or border management area. Often the authorities are not certain about the procedure, how to conduct public procurement jointly. There is a threat that maybe the overall process is more time consuming than just to purchase individually. It's maybe not so flexible than individual purchasing, and there may be some tradition and non-experience how to do them jointly. But we have already some good examples of joint interest. For example, the interest in this candidate list, but also in addition to that list, maybe some other examples regarding to the helicopters or other, that there are several countries that are actually interested to purchase jointly, if possible. So based on that analysis, we conduct integrated feasibility study that consists of legal and regulatory assessments, financial tool and programs assessment, and integrated analysis to support the joint procurement so it could be more successful. There's some findings of this feasibility study are that the first that has to be decided when planning the joint cross-border public procurement is choice of the directive, whether this joint procurement will be purchased under the classical directive or under the defense and security directive. Both are possible. Then the second choice is how the collaboration will be done, whether it will be via central purchasing body, which is some EU agency or other central body that is mutually agreed, or if there is not such agreement, then it's also possible to purchase based on a mutual cooperation. It's so that 2, 3, 4, or 5 or more law enforcement agencies or rescue services, first responders, or border guard agencies agree that they are interested in a certain item, whether it will be drones, helicopters, ballistic vests, or metal detectors, in our case, for the second cycle. So they can be also decide that it will be based on a mutual cooperation. And the third choice is the choice of the procurement process. Actually, officially, there are 2 possibilities for procurement. The first one is procurement of commercial off-the-shelf products, procurement of COTS as a products. This is a legally one choice, and another is innovation procurement, or through using PCP, pre-commercial procurement solutions, PPI, innovation partnership, or something else, in case where there are no ready products and the products must be developed or customized according to their needs. But the central one, the middle one, innovation while procurement of COTS, this is legally nothing different than procurement of COTS, but practically it means that the products are bought or services are bought as a standard, as a commercial off-the-shelf products, but they will be implemented in some innovative way. For example, regarding drones, one possibility is to have innovation procurement, that there will be a special development of special drones for special aims. Another thing is to buy drones as off-the-shelf products. Different manufacturers exist, and then try to implement this slightly with novel tasks, maybe with novel equipment, but the purchase is two procurement activities separately, and then the integration of them may be innovation, but legally it's just procurement of COTS, of course. In both cases, it's the cooperation between the agencies is possible, rather directly for innovation or a simple procurement. Innovation procurement is usually less used, and there are so many experiences, not only as a joint cross-border public procurement, but also as a inside the country or national, because it usually takes more time, but may lead to new solutions. The second analysis in Work Package 3 was the analysis of financial possibilities, and we reviewed different financial tools and programs, of course, national budget possibilities, but also internal security funds, asylum, migration and integration funds, structural funds, Horizon Europe programs, and calls, which could lead some kind of solution of jointly developing or something, and other multi and bilateral tools and programs. And before I present the results of the feasibility study, I will illustrate some ways how, for example, drones or unmanned aerial vehicles can be applied as innovative application or procurement of innovation. For example, if we consider remote sensing problem, like forest fire warning in different countries, localization of fire or overall situation awareness, then what could be the more resource consuming or environmentally friendly, whether to send a large rescue vehicle to the place with full member staff, whether or to send a drone that could monitor the situation and then provide with better situation awareness that could also take less resources for reaching the situation awareness. And then the actual manpower and heavy resources can be placed with a better results. So this is, for example, one case when we can use commercial off-the-shelf products. We can have a joint cross-border public procurement, and then each country implements as it is. Or we can also share best practices, the plans, and maybe modify the possible completion of the drone so that it will fit the specific needs. Another example of possible use of the drones is sea border management, can be used for sea border observation, vessel recognition with those that has not identification system included, or pollution detection on the sea, or again, situation awareness as a whole. Again, we can send a large vessel with a lot of manpower and a lot of resources that both detects and can also provide force if necessary. But we can also initially send a drone, especially, for example, pollution detection, and then come back with situation awareness, and we can then operate for more resource bounded manner, which is more environmental friendly and also budget friendly, and with less response time. Third example is actually the project. I think the type is quite popular in several countries. Measurements and localization, for example, in case of traffic accidents, which has been often done manually by the policeman on the left, while I know there are a lot of projects, not a lot of, but some projects in different countries. For example, in Estonia, but also the picture on the right is taken from the article describing the project that is from the Portugal police. So it's different places in European Union. The idea is that the drone may provide more automated and quick overall picture on the scene. And we can also continue the same examples, for example, for protection of buildings or territories to get the overall picture, or search and rescue activities, and so on. So the revised list for the second cycle consisted of 3 items, and regarding these drones and unmanned aerial vehicles, the feasibility studies leaded to the solution that it's both possible to buy as a commercial off-the-shelf products and then implement it in traditional or innovative way, or to buy as innovation with specific additional developments. And of course, depending what are the tasks, it's different whether the best solution could be the multi-rotor helicopter style UAVs, or fixed wing, means a plane style UAVs. So the function depends, of course, will determine the solution. but the item is bought according to the different directives, according to the different legal schemes, as I provided before, and it's possible to buy from a national budget or EU funds. Internal security fund is okay, but also other funds are possible, as well as innovative development. The metal detectors, and the same later you can see also for the ballistic vest, is that it's more usually the commercial off-the-shelf products, but in other cases, the funding of this kind of joint cross-border public procurement is possible from different EU funds, but also from the national funds. And the ballistic vests often again seen as a commercial off-the-shelf product, similar to the metal detectors, but it is a potential for innovative development, and it should be investigated under different funds, because it is possible that law enforcement agencies or border guard agencies will foresee that the ballistic vests could be integrated to the tactical vests. It means that there will be one vest that has both possibilities. Some services or forces use this kind of combination of light ballistic vest together with tactical vest in the same item. But this is a lot of innovation that could be done in the future regarding these possibilities. So therefore, the discussions could be open, and this could be possible. And this leads to the end of my presentation, and I'm happy to answer to questions if you have any questions regarding this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raul. I don't know if it's possible just to show on the screen the IPN code for Slido, please. I think it's hashtag IPN03 or 4 before. Is it number 4? Yeah, so I believe it's the hashtag IPN. Oh yes, I have 2 questions already. So if you could just go to slide and just ask your questions, Raul will be glad to answer to them. I already have one. I would like to read it out loud for you, Raul. The question is, can you conduct joint cross-border public procurement with EU agencies?
Theoretically, it is possible, but it then has to be agreed with those EU agencies. During this legal study, we had a discussion whether, for example, Frontex or Europol can be one of the central bodies, but we can't say now that it could be easy, but the solution must come from them. But I know that the Frontex has been interested to have a certain central body for PCP or maybe also for joint cross-border public procurement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raul. Another question concerns the availability of the results of this feasibility analysis. Will those results be available online or offline?
Those results have produced in deliverable 3.4, and this is at least available for the consortium as one of the deliverables from iProcureNet. But I will check and maybe we can produce a public version of that could be publicly available in Toolbox, for example.
Thank you very much. And the last question, and again, we will questions that you have been asking during the annual conference, and then we'll give you the answers at the end. Will you analyze other case studies or technologies later in the project, or continue with the 3 already identified?
I showed that in the first cycle, there was a lot of different possible items for joint cross-border public procurement, and we analyzed them as much as was possible, especially from the legal point of view. But at that time, the financial study happened to be at that point exactly where the Horizon 2020 and all other funds were ending. The financial period of EU was ending, and the new calls were not available at that time. So they were analyzed, but not for the current financial period. The second list of those 3 items were now analyzed, and the further analysis depends on 2 things. One, what will be the new list of possible items for the third cycle that will come from work package 2 at the second half of the year. So if there will be new list, we will analyze them as well. And another is, if there is a strong wish from several partners from iProcureNet, we can have a special feasibility study for that item. For example, if the helicopters will have a lot of interest to have a joint procurement, we can do like extra outside the cycle, the extra feasibility study for that item. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raul.